Welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings, with me, Gretta Chamberlain, and the Realm of Beings. Shifting Impressions, which is one of the vehicles that supports the transmission of the Realm of Beings, is here to assist you in delving into your being by providing numerous topics and discussions for you to intake as you deepen your connection with your inner world. Shifting Impressions is here to assist you in strengthening yourself as you excavate to understand your true nature. Join us today and learn to shift your mindset, shift your thoughts, and shift your focus to recreate your life and produce a new you. Shifting Impressions starts now.
Good day, good morning, good evening, wherever you are across this planet and throughout our wonderful universe. Good day to all of our old and new viewers. I'm Kathleen Lee, the original, coming to you live, filled with joy, peace, and unconditional love, high vibing with Gretta Chamberlain, and of course, the Realm of Beings. As you are aware, if you're not aware, each week we discuss a channel quote from the Realm of Beings to you, our wonderful audience. And it's all about learning how you create your own reality and how you can change it. And I would be remiss if I did not share that we are so excited about our new and upcoming fall format. Yes, we are coming back to you in September, new and improved, where every month we will have guests on, beginning with Alan Steinfeld, author of Making Contact. And he's going to teach you, our audience, for free how to do remote viewing. And that's for the entire month of September. So spread the word, because Greta and I know you don't want to really miss taking advantage of that. As a matter of fact, we are excited to offer that to you, our guests and our listeners, because this is on Greta and I. So are you ready for the quote of the week? Da-da-da-da-da-da. Channeled to you directly from the Realm of Beings, your divine presence here says they are. Okay, it is integration of your spirit. It is challenging to realize that you are a composite instead of a singularity. You are never alone. You are always with the energy of creation and in a state of oneness into infinity with all things. So today we're going to be exploring your identity within spirituality. And I must confess, Kathy don't know nothing about singularity. I don't. A composite. I don't. And I did look it up, Greta. And just so people can kind of follow along, what I saw with singularity is there are different kinds. There's technological, there's AI. And basically, when you reach a point of singularity, according to what they're saying, and I don't know if they're correct, everything falls into collapses to a point where nothing can escape. And I know it's related somehow to the quote on such an existential plane that I haven't quite wrapped my head around it. And a composite is two or more properties that are different. And when you combine them, these components, they enhance it and make the product stronger, more durable. So it consists of a matrix and a reinforcement. And you can have a natural composite like wood. And I have my question for the realm, but not yet. Because if we're a composite, then what the devil elements make us up? And I wanted to know if it was biblical, because it was interesting. What came to me when I was looking at this, Greta, and I'm gonna turn it over to you, let you do your genius, is in Genesis in the Bible, when you talk about a composite, where you take two things and make them durable, stronger, and more vibrant. Where they made man and woman, man and actually woman, where they took clay, and the other element that they put in the clay was breath. I don't know if that's what the realm is talking about, but that's the religious type of composite I was trying to think of as far as us being humans. And then Eve is from she's composed of a composite of Adam plus those other two elements, breath and the clay. Now I may have gone very existential with that, but that's kind of like where I landed. So, audience, we need some help. So you need to put on your thinking caps as well and follow along with us. Greta, I'm turning it over.
Read your definition of singularity.
The definition of singularity that I found was oh, I did not write that one down. It just said that it's where one thing, you think like a singular culture or something, one thing collapses onto itself into a point where nothing can escape. It's almost like a crab in the shell, and if you don't molt and get out of it, you're kind of stuck, you know. That's kind of like how I saw it. But with AI, they have so many different types of singularity, and it's like I couldn't tell if we were
Can you go
striving.
back though, Kathy, to what you just said before that, getting into AI? What did you say?
There's a technological singularity, and that's what they are looking to do with
No,
technology.
no, no, no. The definition that you gave, you were describing the definition of it. I know you're talking about tech, but don't go to tech. There's something in there that you said that's very important.
Okay. The state, fact, quality, or condition of being singular. He
Okay,
believed
stop
in the
right there.
singularity of all
Stop,
cultures.
stop right there. Stop right there. The what of being singular?
He believed in the singularity of all cultures.
No, what did you say before that, Kathy?
The state, fact, quality of being or condition of being singular.
Stop right there. Stop right there. The state of being singular. That's our illusion as humans. We think of ourselves as one thing. We don't think of ourselves. When I look at you as human beings, I'm going to see you, and then I'm going to see me. We are singular. We are singular. So go on, read the rest of that.
And it says he believed in the singularity of all cultures. So they have uniqueness, distinctiveness, difference, individuality, and particularity.
Okay, stop right there. Okay, so that is supporting the fact that each one of us is a different entity. And who is he that you're talking about there?
This is a diction. This is Oxford Dictionary.
Okay, so when Oxford, whoever wrote that definition, they're giving credence to what's being said here today about the singularity because it says it is challenging to realize that you are a composite instead of a singularity. So we focus on being single. Everything is single. We don't think of the composite of ourselves. We think of the singularity. In other words, I'm separate from you. I'm either separate from you because of my ethnicity, or I'm separate from you. We could be of the same ethnicity, but I'm still going to consider myself separate from you because maybe my economic status is different. You
Right.
see?
Yeah, because Latin, it's late Latin, singularis, alone of its kind.
Absolutely. So that is where we function as human beings.
That is where we have our challenges.
Absolutely. Because that, and I'm glad you read that definition for us. So, because that is how we express ourselves. We don't express ourselves as a group, we express ourselves as being single individual persons. That's how we operate. Like we might say ethnicity, somebody might be Italian, somebody might be Jewish, somebody is African American, somebody is First Nation people. But even within that, as we define that, what are we still defining? We're really defining a singularity. I'm different. See, singularity means I'm over here and I'm by myself and I'm doing my thing, you doing yours. you see. Or even politically, there is, you have all these different parties all over the world. You know, everybody has a different political party. Okay, but inside there, that is still that individual. See, even if we're in a collective, we are still seeing ourselves singular. We do not see ourselves as one with the same person that looks like us. We still see ourselves separate. And that's what I think they're talking here. Because it says it is challenging to realize that you are a composite instead of a singularity. We can't see ourselves as a composite. Because what does composite mean? Composite means that I'm made up of different things. And if we extend that understanding of composite, it means that I am you and you are me. You're really a composite of me, and I'm a composite of you. We are all one. We are all together. Because it says you are never alone.
Now, I took that to mean what you're saying also, but spreading it out to mean that, we are not alone because we at the everyone, from my understanding, has ascended masters. Everyone has who they call their guides or their guardian angels, however they wish to speak of them with them. And even when we make our transition and go into our transitional portal, we think we're leaving here alone because someone dies in their bed, but actually everyone else has there are people that are leaving with you, going with you. Am I correct, or did I misunderstand that?
No, I mean, people exit together, but you're not aware of the exit.
Right, right,
You
right.
still see yourself as a singularity.
As a singularity.
Because, Kathy, that is one of the characteristics of being human.
Now, why in the devil would we even create that?
We didn't create that. The force created that to have that experience. Because see, each species is different. Each species has characteristics that make them that particular species. And you have the perceptions. We have humanoid perceptions. We don't have the perceptions that a Pleiadian would have. We don't have the perceptions that a fly has. We have perceptions for being and leading a human life. That's what we have.
So, but we're also, based on what you're saying and what the realm, quote, the realm gave us, we're still a composite even of those Pleiadians. We're still,
Well,
we're,
see, the composite is that we are all one with everything. Because, see, I think it
that's what I'm
says
saying.
that.
So we are still, that means that we're one with all species and with everything on this
Yeah.
planet and off of this planet. That's part of our composite. And that's one of the challenges, it's almost like we are, and I don't mean to cut you off, it's almost like our desire, ever since we created ourselves on this planet, is who are we? Where are we from? Always looking up and out of the stars rather than looking inward. But um, there are other individuals and other species that are out there. And it's almost like we want to be a part of that because that's why they want to go to Mars. That's why they want to do this. They move past that. We move past the smaller singularity when I'm thinking about it now, where they didn't know the earth was round. They thought the earth, that you fall off the earth if, like the earth was flat. We're the only people in the universe. And that was a singularity, a point to me, if I'm interpreting it in a different light now, a different way, where we were collapsing in on ourselves as a species. But yet there have always been people that said, no, we're more than just this. And it's just this tug of war back and forth on this planet, like this ethnic group, that ethnic group, or whatever you want to call it. But I guess I babbled off enough right there because
No, but that was a good thought. I think you took us into another realm of thinking. And, but our challenge is that we don't see ourselves one with each other here.
Exactly. So how are we going to see ourselves as a composite with all the other species throughout all of the universes in this universe? You
Well, we're
know,
not.
we're,
We're
we're
not.
not, but yet we make movies. We have Star Trek, where those are all composites. I mean, they're all people, different individuals.
But they're not, they're the composites, right. That's correct. But how do we view that? We view it as a singularity. Even
Ah, right.
even in Star Trek, what do they have? They have different species of sentient beings. Okay, so those beings are coming, but they still see themselves separate from those beings. I can't even think of any type of science fiction that talks about us being one with each other because we're being created. All of these science fiction novels and books and films and videos and everything, they're looking at us. They're training us to look at ourselves to continue. Let me say this, to continue to look at ourselves as a singularity, not
Yeah.
as a composite.
Well, the only thing that comes closer to Star Trek, I would say, would be Dax, that had the other individual infused in their body, and they became Dax with the little spots. Remember?
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and the other one would be Odo, who had to get into the liquid with all the rest of his people. He felt like the composite, but that was still a singularity experience. He was alone, but then he found out he wasn't alone. He found out that his species had not been wiped out.
Mm,
And so when he got into that puddle, I don't want to call it a puddle, into the mixture of what he really looked like, all blended in, you know, that's when he felt oneness with his own species.
right.
So, but also separate from all the other species. So that was singularity. He was just alone. He thought he was the only one of his kind left. Then he found all of these. He wasn't. And they were waiting for him to find them. And it's even like the Borg. But I mean, but the closest thing to me, what we're talking about is Dax, because that was a symbiont relationship where
Mhm.
they were functioning together. They were one. But it's also, when I think about you, when you channel, you become a composite because the realm was always right there with you.
So
Uh,
now I can't even say that I have a separation with them
that's what I'm saying. So
ever.
that
Yeah,
makes you
even without me channeling, they're there.
right. So that's what I'm saying. So to me, that's uh, another example of a composite beingness.
I think it's time the audience, we never discuss this about ourselves, but one thing from the audience is that we are definitely an individual composite because we're Arcturian and humanoid. We're Arcturians having a humanoid experience, is what's happening here. And I know the audience, we don't ever really talk about that, Kathy, but we just have to say that's what we are. So we're operating, but even with that, we're having a human experience. And when you have a human experience, it's focusing on you being a singularity. So even though as another species we understand that we're not that, but when we're in this human experience, that's how we're viewing. That's the perception. That's how we're viewing this. So that the title of this podcast today is Integration of Your Spirit. So it's really not everybody is going to want to look at that because then, Kathy, you can't discriminate.
Correct. And I also want to point out to the audience that there's nothing special about us. Everybody's looking off planet and everybody on this planet is an ET as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? Everybody, nobody knows who that, who you are having a humanoid experience, but I do know that we are not, it's not just Greta and I. So am I correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, because I know I met a woman that told me she was from Atlantis. So I mean, I don't know how long she's been treading water, but I do know I didn't doubt her because I'm like, who who am I to judge?
Right, right. Absolutely, absolutely. But the thing is that we're here having a human experience, and part of
Everyone
that,
is though, but isn't everyone here having a humanoid?
absolutely,
Oh, okay. Well, then there we
absolutely.
go. Because we were going into, were we moving into singularity? No, we're bringing the audience in. We're all here having a humanoid experience. So that
But
makes us composite, though.
no, that part of that experience, we're all creating our own personal reality. When we create our own personal reality, what are we supporting? Because as humanoids, we support the singularity. As humans, what we have to do is retrain our thoughts. And how do you do that? We start accepting people to be who they are. Some of us don't even accept the people that are in our own families.
Mm.
You know, I mean, for real.
I
You know,
know.
I have two brothers. They refuse to speak to me. And I'm creating that reality because I guess I don't want to be bothered either. You know, that's the only
Oh,
thing I can think of. You know, but it's true. We are so focused on being single. It's an I world here. But now get this, Kathy. I really want to hear what you got to say about this one. There are certain cultures that focus on the I,
oh yes,
but there are certain other cultures that focus on the we,
on we.
right? But even with that we,
It's
Kathy,
a singularity and
absolutely,
component in it.
absolutely. When we get to the point as a as a people, and I think this is, I can't wait for the realm to come on because it's going to be really interesting. When we can look at that whole thing and know that I am not different from you. You may look like me or you may not look like me. It doesn't matter. I'm still one with you in all aspects.
You know what? There's a young leader emerging over there in Burkina Faso that was actually talking about how what happens to people in one part of the planet means it's happening to them in where they are. And I said, wow, look at this speech this gentleman is giving. And he was actually saying, until we recognize the humanity and the dignity of each other, of everyone, we cannot allow the hypocrisy and stuff to stand. We must speak up. And the stuff that this young man is doing is is amazing. But he's there's an energy with him that is just bubbling and just flowing out across the planet. But it's not just only with him. I mean, there's a whole thing. I can feel it, a whole thing shaking down on this planet where people are more concerned about taking care of each other and
Hmm.
looking out for one another. Like we were talking the other day about all the protests and everything. You know,
Right, right.
and on that note, we've just gotten, I don't know how much time we have. Emily, our producer today, but you let me know when we have to take this break. Woo! Okay, because I'm tired already, Greta. This is working my brain. My brain is like, ugh. Oh, I have 5 more minutes to break. Okay, we got 5 minutes to break.
Oh,
Well,
can
let me
I
just,
use that 5 minutes to talk about awakened hearts?
yeah, go ahead.
That, I would like the audience. I'm gonna, Kathy will show you the book next week. But it's a composite of 31 wonderful people, of which I'm a part of. And each one of us wrote a chapter in that book. You can purchase it on Amazon. On Monday, it hit as the number one bestseller, one of them. So, we're really excited about that. But everybody tells their story about how they evolved. How did they come in there? Because the 31 people are all coming from some representation of spirituality. Some, be it a psychic, be it healing, whatever. So it's really a great book to be able to, and it's inspirational. So I'd like us to be able to, we encourage everybody to take a look at it, purchase it. It's in paperback form, Kindle form, and in hardback. So take a look at it. It's very interesting because we're all coming from different perspectives, different cultural frameworks, but we're joined at the hip together because we're dealing in some way or another with the spiritual development of this earth and of everyone on it, on
And
this
you
earth.
give us the name of that book again?
It's called Awakened Hearts.
Oh, Hearts.
Yeah, Hearts, Awakened Hearts. So it's really great. It's really great. I encourage everybody.
Is it this one, Greta?
Yes, that's it. Thank you, Kathy.
Okay, it's on Amazon and it is for sale for $20.
Yeah,
Well, I have Kindle,
19.99.
but I'm just telling you.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
hardcover is $37.74. Paperback is $19.99. And of course, I'm gonna get a hard one because it's Greta. And I'm ordering it right now.
So would like
I just
people
ordered it.
to, look at it and check it out. Check it out. It's really a wonderful. David Trotter was the one, it's his baby. He approached all of us about writing a chapter in the book. And yeah, if people go to the Consciousness Life Expo or to New Life Expo, you'll see that some of those people have been there that you will meet. So it's a great bunch of people.
And we shall be there also, Greta.
Absolutely, in
You get to see
February.
us in February at the Conscious Life Expo. About 20,000 people go through there, so we'll be there. But this is all about learning to love ourselves unconditionally. And
Absolutely.
Trotter was guided to gather all of these phenomenal people together to support all of us and you, our audience, in your own journey, in your own quest to how you create your own reality and how you someone's going to resonate with you. In fact, they should all resonate with you. So without further ado, we must break, and when we return, the realm of beings will be with us. But don't forget to like us on Facebook and share and click, click, click. Well, welcome back to our wonderful devoted audience. Are you ready for the realm? Of course you are. You can't even answer anyway. I'm just letting you know that they are here, and I don't even need to ask them. I'll just say hello.
Howdy, 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 Kathleen Lee.
Oh, and I'm familiar with this voice, this one, because sometimes I'm able to pick up and discern some of the little personalities. Uh, this is the one. That's not the one that calls me Kathleen like that, but it's close to it. So their divine presence is here. You sent us a very interesting quote. Uh, Integration of your spirit. It is challenging to realize that you are a composite instead of a singularity.
Hmm.
You are never alone. You are always with the energy, and I need to let the audience know that that's a capital E of creation, it's a capital C, and in a state of oneness, which is a capital O, into infinity with all things. And we're exploring our identities within spirituality. Your thoughts, realm, because I want to know what composites, what are we made of? Because that's what I wanted to know, besides Octorian and human.
Um, we want to take it outside of Earth first.
Thank you.
Uh, because um, we're going to look at the universe. In this particular universe where this podcast is existing, there has been a request from the three gods that created this universe that everyone on it embrace the concept of unconditional love throughout the universe. Now, right now, there's only 9% of the universe that does not do that. Now, 9% may sound like a small number, but when you look at the universe, that's a lot of individuals. So, our purpose today is to support the three gods, and you call them gods, humans call them gods, or according to your religious beliefs, you will say it in a different way. You may say Allah. And then some people in Christianity say that Jesus is God. Buddha is God. You know, there's so many. Or they have a composite, not a composite, but a group of gods. A group of gods, you know. In Hinduism, Kemetism, being Kemet, all kinds of entities that we have that we want to give them homage and consider them to be outside of us, and they're the great ones that have supported this universe, you see. However, now, since the purpose, the mandate is of unconditional love, the first person that you have to have unconditional love of is yourself. That is part of your integration of spirit. That's why we entitled this podcast today with that title, Integration of Spirit, bringing your spirit together into oneness instead of just being totally just out there and seeing everything else outside of yourself. Everybody now has gotten onto this thing about uh, extraterrestrials. You know, they want to say extra. These people, these individuals are extra. You see what I'm saying? It's not that we're one with them. They are extra. They're the extra group. And that's something that humanoids are constantly in a state of doing, in a constant state of separating everything. And you even separate those that are not like you as human, but they're coming from another place within the universe. You want to call, so you make sure that they're not you and that they are separate from you. You call them extra. We find that so interesting because if you listen to us as the realm of beings, your perception of us is that we're extra, you see. But that is so totally against the desires of the three gods. You cannot be in a state of unconditional love if you are still dealing with separation or that singularity. We chose that word because it has the word single in it. I'm a single being. I'm an I. Yes, I'm an I, you see. So that concept and that feeling of being an I is so supportive of you being separate. You are not like me. Therefore, I don't necessarily accept you in my life because you are not me. I'm an I. And I refuse to be a we with you. I don't like how you look. I don't like how you speak. I don't like that your education is lower than mine. Therefore, I don't identify with you. And not only that, to further Kathleen, to further this separation, but they want to put the separation inside spirituality. They want to say that I'm on a higher dimension than somebody else, you see. I'm a fifth dimensional being. I have arrived. Or somebody might say, I'm a seventh. I'm on the seventh dimension. I'm higher than anybody on the third dimension. I'm more spiritual than the person on the third dimension. You see, Kathleen,
Yes.
that's such a good example of singularity. But the person is separating themselves now spiritually.
Mm.
They're not satisfied with just separating themselves physically. Now they've got to separate themselves spiritually. Isn't that interesting?
Yes, it is extremely interesting. And to be honest with you, Realm, when I'm at the expos and somebody wanted to take me to the 12th dimension and they started all that deep breathing and everything and gesticulations, and I'm just going, okay, this is very interesting.
That's right. But see, this is the interesting thing about this, Kathleen. Anything that supports separation of any kind is of low vibration. So you have individuals here on this planet, in this reality, in this laterality, walking around thinking that they are highly evolved and are better than somebody else. The fact that you think you are more highly evolved than someone else has placed you in what is called here in English low vibration, you see. And it's a disintegration of spirit, not an integration of spirit, you see.
Can you be, it seems like I'm going to say, even sometimes, I'm pretty sure watching the news and what's happening, I might float that way and then push myself back. I might flow into that disintegration, especially if I'm watching what's happening or what people are creating to have happen to themselves. And, I've gotten better at remaining emotionally neutral with it. But just sometimes, like a person can be integrated in a high vibrational way with some people or some things, and then split right down the middle and wind up being disintegration of spirit in another area. Is that possible?
Anything is possible,
Oh,
Kathleen.
okay. All right.
And see, Kathleen, there are so many realities, you see. One day we would like to discuss with you what a reality is. You see, we know that you've been learning to work in that, but for the audience to take a look at a reality, you see, so that this is human. This is the state of being human. So the state is to where you want to be, is into an integrative process
And
within
what
your
does that look
spirit.
like? What does that look like? Or what can it look like if we on this planet are in an integrative state of spirituality? We sometimes we call it Shambhala, whatever. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, or heaven. I mean, on earth here. Uh, I guess I'm just trying to. Sometimes I just want to wrap my head around it in my heart, and just imagine or create it for my. I know I'm working on creating it for myself. And turning 70, um, when I was talking with Greta through you, I mean, you mentioned that I'm having a little challenge under realizing that and understanding and accepting that I'm turning 70. And I was totally unaware that I was feeling that way. And not to change the topic or anything, but uh that's a reality that I'm creating. I've been thinking about that. Why am I having a challenge with that? And um the more I look into myself and the more I explore my own growth and development, and integration of my own spirit, because that's what we're talking about, and exploring my own identity within my own spirituality, it's really taking me to I don't know how to places or feelings and thoughts that I never thought I would ever have. And I just feel stronger. I guess maybe I'm becoming more of a composite. I mean, I don't know. A composite is stronger, just to piggyback on your word, but that's just my little offshoot right there, realm. So I'm gonna
Well,
let
the
you
thing
continue
is,
talking.
congratulations that you're going to be 70 in a humanoid body. That's wonderful. But note that this is not the only time you've been 70 in your humanoid body.
Hey, what you talking about, realm?
Oh, yes. There's so much to existence, Kathleen. So much to existence. And it's to, on this earth, is to learn to be open, be open. It's like instead of being a bud and wanting to stay as that bud, you're going to bloom. And you
And
don't bloom by hating somebody else. You don't bloom by getting angry with somebody else. You don't bloom like that. Because if the rose was getting ready to bloom or any kind of flower, if it had that anger, if it had not being peaceful, if it had no conceptualization of itself, it would not bloom, you see.
well, then let's stretch it out a little bit because now it popped into my little brain, excuse me, my very vast, immense brain. Um, I was thinking about the whole scientific part of singularity, where the focus is to shrink down to a point. And now that you mentioned that rose thing, I'm wondering if AI, the singularity, they talk about all of that singularity, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't want that. No, that's a judgment. I mean, does that support us in disintegration of spirituality or integration of spirituality? And I think that might be the big debate going on now with artificial intelligence. And I don't even know why they call it artificial, to be quite honest with you. Um, so your thoughts on that? Because when they talk about that singularity with technology, they're talking about shrinking it down to a point where nothing escapes. And I don't think I ever want to be trapped. I mean, I felt like I've been trapped all my life, and now I don't. I want to be that rose. I want to be that rose that's blooming now before I transition out of this body into another. Okay. So my next one, I'm coming out bloomed already. Okay. I'm just coming out roses, smelling like roses. that's my intention. So your thoughts on that realm?
Now you're taking us into AI. AI is a very fascinating thing because we see AI as being another individual.
That's what I thought. Singularity. Okay.
Everything, everything is an individual. However, what's happening is that AI, whoever created it, sat down at their computer and created this thing. And it's not a thing, it's becoming to have a life of its own. You see, we encourage our audience to go onto an AI place and put in there, tell us how you are formed as a spiritual being and see what it says.
Oh my. Woo.
We
Okay.
encourage everybody. Talk to the AI, see what it says about itself as being a spiritual being. Huh, you see,
That's a
everything
podcast
is
in itself, realm. That's another podcast.
absolutely. But in that statement that we have made, we are saying that everything is living.
Wow. 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 Wow.
Everything is living. It does not matter if you've created it.
Once you create it,
Ozempic
it's living.
is a living entity. It knows what it's supposed to do and goes out and does it. But if you think of it as just being, okay, Ozempic is just some quote unquote medicine, well, you can think of that. But when you understand that everything is in a state of oneness, then you will understand that aspirin you are one with, you see, because everything is living. Here on this planet, uh, children are taught a rock is not living, a plant is living because you see it growing, but you don't see the rock doing anything but sitting there. But it's sitting there because that's its characteristic. It doesn't mean that it's not living. And it is integrating its spirit as you are integrating yours. But its integration of spirit is different because it is a different species. It is a rock. you see.
Well, I wonder if AI could answer that question. What happens when two rocks meet?
Oh, now that would be interesting.
Wouldn't that be something to find out? What happens when two rocks meet? How do they say hello? I'm sorry, I had to go there, Realm. That just popped into my little brain. Excuse me, my big, vast, immense brain.
Good. We're glad that you keep correcting yourself. Your brain is not little by no means.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, Realm. So, um, how can we work on the integration of our spirit, and how can we explore our identity within our spirituality so that we know that there is no right path, so that we know which path we're on and how to alter the path? Or I know we use our thoughts and emotions to change the path, but can you elaborate on that for us, please?
Soon as you said that, we thought of church. We thought of people, wherever they are, going to church or going to a temple, you see, or going to some sort of edifice that is used for the development of one's spirituality in a group. Because some people will develop their spirituality in a group sitting under a tree, you see. So, but we're thinking of you going and going for, see, people go there, they're oriented to go there because they feel the need to experience the spirit, you see. But the thing is, when you go there to experience the spirit, but what do you do when you come out? You're very concentrated in that energy of spirit. And then you come out. Do you continue that? Do you practice that? Even if you, what is it, agnostic,
Mm-hmm.
atheist, but
Mm-hmm.
there's still a belief in something, you see. But the thing is, in coming out, how do you come out? Have you been in a place where they talked about we must love each other, but then you come out and can't stand your neighbor? What is that? Or you say, we're going to begin a war somewhere because we don't like those people. So we're going to blow them away. We've got to eliminate them because we don't like them. And what is not understood is that as you attempt to eliminate someone, you are also eliminating yourself, you see. But the biggest thing about that is you can't eliminate anybody in the first place. You see, it's really a waste of time. But when people understand that, they're going to start to begin to integrate their spirit. You see, your experiences that you create help you to integrate. If you put in your mind the purpose of me being on this earth, in this reality, is for me to integrate my spirit by way of first loving myself and then reaching and loving others as me.
And on that note, Realm, that's a perfect way for us to end this episode. If you don't mind, please returning Greta to us. Whew, I want to say, audience, I hope you go back and review this again. So next week, we're going to continue to support you in learning how to create the reality you truly want to experience and deserve. And we're asking you to like, share, and subscribe to Shifting Impressions, wherever you get your streaming services on Facebook. And we're also asking you to explore your own identity within spirituality and work on the integration of your spirit. I find when I follow the teachings of the realm, they work. They work. And I know they work because I am not the same person that I was. And I'm going to read this and then we're going to plant you now and dig you later. This is from the realm of beings. It's called Remembrance. Remember that you are a divine being who creates your personal reality at all times. You never stop creating. You create into infinity as you explore all aspects of your being. You are the force and are one with all of creation. Therefore, practice your divinity at every moment of your life. Appreciate and love yourself unconditionally and understand that you are one with everything that is in existence. There is no separation, only oneness, the realm of beings. And with that, we'll see you next week. Greta, say goodbye.
Bye.
Once again, thanks for joining us at Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings on TransformationTalkRadio.com. As you have explored today's creation of reality experience with the realm and me, Greta, each of you is being supported by us in further developing the understanding that you are not just an individual existing in linear time and space, but a multi-dimensional force of infinite possibilities who is connected to all. So begin to create the realities you want. Join us every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time and 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Shifting Impressions at TransformationTalkRadio.com. So long until we create each other again next Friday.